All right, but
So what you're saying
who
is it's
remembers
mostly just us four.
pretty much.
Pretty much.
And Tommy, obviously,
Okay.
when he's not catching wife.
Having a real life.
Yeah.
Getting that wife aggro.
Who does remember what happened last week? There's some stuff that was found out, some things that went down, some bad juju that happened, and some decisions that were made. Note taker? What do your notes say? As there's no note taker.
So that was Tommy.
Yeah, that was Tommy.
Well, he had his talk with the dude about the chains.
Yes.
I did talk with him about it, and he was like, "Look, the rest of it was melted down and made into other shit."
It is true. You found out that those chains are made of the first iron, and that they used to be longer, but links of them were melted down and put into several other items, basically made into relics that have been lost to time.
We met the what's the royal dude that's here?
Krutz.
Lord.
Is he a lord?
Jurgen von Richten. Yes.
Yeah, we met him.
We met him in
Oh, no, wait, sorry, no, we didn't meet him. We Gen's alive, and we had a meeting with him.
And he fought a
And
fucking
bunch of
dragon.
The other people.
Gen is alive. He's still a little beat up, but
Bismarck
He
is
watched the
allied
limp
with
now.
the gospel.
Oh yeah,
queen.
yeah. I also caught that. Bismarck showed up with the white cracker bitch and did bad stuff.
That is what he did.
All right.
It's what he did.
White power.
Well, can we call her Snow Hockey from here on out?
Snow honkies.
well, it's for her. It's WIGHT. So
she's in the league with the red dragons, not the white ones.
it's true.
She's a white.
She's like one of those super straight motherfuckers.
Indeed.
White power.
As you were, you ran into Gen, who did manage to find
Hey man,
you.
nothing wrong with being super straight.
It's true. You did run into Gen, who has managed to run into you once again, as he is going around doing a little bit of scouting and sort of going from places. You learned that the crown is levying troops to raise an army, but until they get the army fully sort of in place, they're advising that people evacuate these very far western areas, especially the larger cities, and head inland towards the capital, where there is better defense, and obviously farther away as well. He was hoping to run into Ito, because he's going to have to levy troops from the Ile de Royan, but Ito's not around, so he said, maybe he'll run into him, or he'll see if he can seek them out. But learned that indeed the chains that Joseph Smoke has were actually longer, forged of the original iron, but were broken up. The links were melted down and used in other items, other artifacts and relics of significant power that have been lost to time. You afterwards, let's see what else happened. Obviously there was the attack by the woman in white, and riding atop Bismarck, who has seemed to be turned to their cause. Unfortunate, but asshole red dragons, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
All because Reed pissed them off.
You know what I'm not gonna do next time? Tell them the fucking prophecy.
Well, they know it now.
Yeah, don't talk to dragons.
No, don't talk to red dragons.
Just don't talk to anybody.
Yeah, never talk to anyone.
Yeah, Lou, I'm kind of with him on that.
I think it's the chromatic dragons, right? They're the ones that are dicks. The metallic dragons are cool.
Yeah, they can all kind of be dicks in a way. But the after the Gen and the group managed to fight the dragon off, because it was just her on top of the dragon, and with Gen attacking them and then firing bolts from the airship. They were able to fight off the dragon. They
A
also
wonderful Skyweaver.
gave the ship a name and a new coat of paint, naming it the Skyweaver. Do 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 tonight. And they also basically
Like that.
took the flail snail shell that Klaus had previously captured and killed and harvested the shell. Basically, like, crunched it down into paint and powdered it and painted the outside of the hull a nice sort of pearlescent blue with some gold accents. And that means it goes through the air faster because it looks cooler. But it also has some minor magical protection. Obviously, not a ton because it's a lot of shell to be spread across an airship, but it does offer the hull some minor magical resistance. You also had to you also ended up deviating on where exactly you were heading. You were obviously originally going to head to Prost. But all things considered, people discussed where to head next, and they thought it might be better to head towards the capital of Weissenberg. There are some things that are drawing you there. Obviously, Prost is a wonderful magic city with airship docks and all that stuff, and you were hoping to meet up with Ito's retainers and stuff like that. But you know, it was already worked out with them that if you don't arrive in 2 weeks, they're gonna head to the Ile de Royhan anyway, so it's not like they're gonna be just standing there if you don't meet them. And you at the very least have this key that was given to you that you got off of the Redeemer that leads to a vault, Weissenberg, somewhere in the sort of central, or the steel mint, basically, the sort of central mint of the entire kingdom where they have vaults and things like that. You also have another quest that was requested for you to undertake all the way back in Erzig to head towards Feist. Deliver a message to the matron in there. The exact specifics I don't feel like looking up, but Arvald basically said, hey, you know, we are raised in family groups. If you'd go give this pauldron to the matron that raised us, say, you know, leave a message that, you know, I died fighting, all that stuff, etc., etc., that kind of thing, I'd appreciate it. So you do have, and that is on the northern coast of the Deepwater Lake. So it's also reasonably close. Maybe a week away by airship travel or so, across the lake. Because it's a pretty big lake. Well, I don't know, probably even less than that. All the way up here. But, and so it was decided to head to Weissenberg. And so you took off, leaving the town of Krutz Castle behind you, leaving your allies Karakwa and Adelaide, or Abigail, behind, to continue aiding the druids, especially the druids of the Zephyr Quintessent, as Abigail continues trying to step into her own as the leader. This clan of druids, seeking the wisdom of Karakwa, as well as Dillamond, who is not dead, but she's still around. She's still cognitive, she's just very weak. Hopefully, one day, maybe you'll meet them again. But until that day, all that lies is road before you. You kind of, sail through the air, not really meandering, but you generally stick to following the Emperor's March. It is a very sort of well-defined, easy-to-see landmark that can always keep you on track, and it's not a perfect straight line, it's relatively straight. little bit of curves and stuff like that, but it's got you going in the right direction. And about 2 weeks out, like I said, you got another 2 weeks of supplies, and you realize that right around the time you were going to be needing to get supplies, there's going to be the town of Hogsend. The place where all of this started, you know, several months ago at this point. Fast forward. Not advanced a bit. It's too. There's a little bit of doldrums that sort of set in as you're sailing across the on an airship over the land. You've got supplies and you've got enough drinking water. Like I said, all that's been taken care of. What is difficult is entertainment, as things can get kind of boring.
You're telling me people aren't entertained by my incredible penis?
I mean, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a perfect time for Reed to be meditating. Put on some incense, start up some tea, and just...
Well, fuck
Incest?
that,
What?
2 entire
Incense.
weeks. 2 entire weeks of meditation.
Solid.
Yeah, well, fuck you guys. I need to gamble somewhere.
You
It's like I haven't had a private place to shit in 2 weeks.
you have to stick your ass over the side, man. The way it is.
You go coo coo before you do it. Let people know it's coming.
Aim for the villages.
Every night, Yonduin does his best with his daughter, Janice, to entertain you. Both of them skilled, very, very skilled musicians. They do have, while they don't have the grandest of instruments with them, they're able to play on simple reed pipes and lutes, and young Janice even produces a bandoneon to play every now and then, but other than that, there's
There
little
you
to
go.
do outside of playing cards every now and then.
I'd like to use the time to study my book of poisons and work with my poisoners kit with Lincoln.
He's more than happy to do that. The only thing he asks in return is that you sit and play a hand of cards with him every now and then, as he's like, well, I reckoned flying on an airship be a lot more interesting than this, but I guess the reality is it's just a lot of looking over the land. I mean, it's not like bandits can really get us up here. There's not a lot of airships about.
I mean, don't even get to hear the sound of nature. It's just the sound of the wind rushing by.
I am going to work on a decorative map.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put it points that we've been put like something of note on the like how they have like a Hydra and sea. I'll put like the scene of a battle or something like that, like, and do like some drawings on the map and stuff.
Okay. That's kind of how it passes for a while. There is not a lot, like I said, on an airship, there's not a lot that can cause you a lot of problems, you know?
Dragons.
Dragons, some stuff like that.
Things that are problems are large problems, unfortunately.
It's after about 9 days. You get your first little bit of interesting, a little bit of interesting an interesting encounter. sailing through the air, Nipsey lifts you high up above the clouds, and you can see the sun above. And it's quite chill. All of a sudden, you hear what sounds like a faint, squawks. Loud, sort of hissing calls. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Oh, I don't even have my, let me get that up.
16. God damn.
I know their
Jesus.
names.
Fucking
their family tree.
Miles in all directions. Nothing gets past this motherfucker.
That was the idea. Except when it
Jesus.
does.
He sees the past, he sees the future.
He sees everything. And he sees children. Cinnamon toast ass.
Yeah, I kind of want the Cinnamon Toast Crunch now. Fuck you, Colin.
It's pretty good.
Dude, the churros are really.
I think I
Cinnamon
have some.
Toast Crunch is great.
I think I have some.
Smoke got a 15.
Alright. Alright. Cool. You look around, hearing this terrible sort of screech that almost sounds like a scream. At first, most of the people are sort of looking out over the edge. But Cool, you sort of look down beneath the cloud layer that Nipsey has brought you above, and you see a absolutely gargantuan winged form, and for a moment you're worried that the dragon Bismarck has pursued you, but then you see feathers, flashing feathers, terrible eagle that is absolutely massive, a wingspan well over 100 feet long, a beak large enough to no doubt crush a carriage, to be able to talons large enough to lift a full-sized horse in each one, a rock soaring below you. It is sort of slowly. At first, you're unsure if perhaps you've just sort of run across it and it hasn't noticed you, but you can just see it turns its massive head, and a large predatory eye looks up at you. And you know that's probably gonna be a problem. As it sort of soars up, its feet, its sort of form, piercing through the clouds, sending them dispersing as it rises up to your level. Go ahead and roll initiative. Guess I should put on some combat.
Yeah, roll it. Why the hell not?
So let me go ahead and go to my cover.
Yep.
be dummy thick. Alright. The gargantuan form of the rock soars to your level, piercing through the cloud layer. Keeping its distance, but eyeing you. It's only about 100 feet away, but it's not. It's sort of flying parallel to the ship, waiting for the opportunity for it to soar in and tear into it. It goes to Joseph Smoke first.
How in the fuck did that happen?
You said you rolled a 17, right?
Yeah.
Rolled a 16. It rolled a
Because
16.
everybody else rolled shit.
And there you
Alright,
go.
then
There's a rock.
Hey,
Well,
hey.
Nick, why does your initiative have a -1 to it?
I bet that's sometimes it's a weird thing that comes across from D&D Beyond that you have to kind of remove it from your character sheet.
How far away from the thing is it? From the ship?
It's 100 feet.
Damn. Alright, Eldritch Blast.
Why is it negative?
That's a 12 to hit.
Well, I also got a 17 then. I don't understand why. What?
Just delete it from your character sheet. Like I said, I can't fix the coding of if that imports it weird.
Hey, that's a
I
26.
don't know where that is.
Have we had a long rest since?
Yes, you've been sailing for 9 days.
Blast number 3. No, 2. Yeah, 2. Never mind, not 3. The second one hits 26, right?
Yeah, 26 hits.
The 12 does
I
not.
didn't hear. I was too busy worrying about the -1 initiative that everyone was talking about. What did you say?
Yeah. The 12 hit? No. It's big, but like.
12 did not hit.
Yeah, I didn't think so. 11 force damage coming to that motherfucker.
Alright, after that, it goes to Alec Cole.
So, you said 100 feet-ish?
It's currently 100 feet out.
Max, did you end up hitting it at all?
Yeah, I did. With 26, did
Okay.
11 damage.
Why doesn't it show the range on Toll the Dead anymore? It's 120 feet, right? I think.
Like that.
60 feet. Never mind. I thought it was one of the ones 120. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and use a wild shape. And then go into the stuff got changed on this character sheet. It's hard to find anything. Because I don't even see anything about that Star Druid stuff anymore. Other than I mean, basically all I'm doing is going into one of the forms. I'm trying to figure out which one it is. I think it's the damaging one.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the form of the archer, and that's all. Because I'm not in range.
Okay. The form of the archer, constellation appears. Yeah, it's in your starry form. Action. Feature. And it's an action.
Okay.
Let's see. Afterwards, goes to the Roc, who is going to quickly, with surprising speed, close in to the boat, the airship, and is going to try to rake its talons across it. Talons. We got a 21 against the boat, or 22 points of damage, as it's going to start it smashes into the boat and begins tearing at the railing, sending bits and pieces of it flying about, sending huge sort of planks off the side as it begins a huge crack just runs up the side into it as the Roc begins attacking the boat itself. Goes to you, Reed.
Alright, so how far away is this rock now?
It's now right on the boat. Or not, it's not on the boat, but it's right next to the boat, sort of attached to it, essentially.
Is there some rope around?
Sure, there's always some rope around on a ship, boat.
Well, no, I just don't know what you'd want to do this as, a bonus action, an action, whatever.
Depends on what you're doing.
I want to tie myself to the side of the boat.
It's probably a
Oh,
bonus
he's
action.
setting up a lifeline.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a lifeline and then I'm gonna jump at the rock.
Sure. Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
I mean, you got good
Oh,
dexterity.
actually, I'm pretty good.
So
It's a 14.
you tie a fine knot. You test it, it's pretty secure as you are ready to take a flying leap over to the edge onto this Roc who is attached to your airship.
All right, no athletics or anything, or acrobatics or anything like that. I just make it.
Yeah, it's not. It's a huge beast that you're basically just trying to. You're trying to grab onto him.
I'm gonna punch this rock right in the face.
Yeah.
Or was it a bonus action or an action to tie it?
It's a bonus action.
Okay. Then yeah, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna punch him. Unarmed strike, go.
So he's on the deck of the ship?
He's not on the deck of the ship, but he is directly adjacent to it now.
That is 17.
17 does manage to hit the Roc.
All right, and one more time. All right, that's 25 for 12.
This is generally accurate to your size. The Roc is this size compared to you. It is a gargantuan creature. All right, you begin pummeling
I'll
it,
come down and start punching it in the eye.
doing what damage you can. You begin punching it in the eye, and it does seem to sort of caw and sort of bank away slightly before slamming back into the ship.
Reed's just become Diet Kwong.
Alright, it goes to you, Klaus. You just saw Reed throw himself onto the back of the rock and start trying to beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna try and beach him.
Reed is quite the optimistic fellow.
Do we have a harpoon on the ballista, or is it just a bolt?
It is just a
Plain old
bolt.
bolt.
It's not made. It's doesn't have a harpoon. That doesn't mean you can't attempt to do something like that. But it is currently just a bolt on the ballista. One sad, lonely ballista.
Is that an action to do that? Instead of that?
To attach it to a bolt.
To ready the bolt and like tie one into a rope and the other into the rope to like I guess the mast of the ship or something.
Doing all of that would be an action. If you're trying to ready it to attach to a bolt and tie it to the mast, it would be a full basically action to do that. And all the and a lot of your movement too.
Okay. I will do that. I will hook up the harpoon.
Alright, give me a sleight of hand check for your knot tie.
$16.
Alright, you take one of the, you take the bolt and you manage to loop a pretty good knot around it. It's pretty secure as you are able to wrap it through a small hole that's on it, and take the other end, and you're able to go to the mast and tie that up with an equally proficient knot. So you do have it attached at both ends.
Nice. I'm gonna use my remaining movement to get back up on the ballista. And I've got a bonus action, but I might as well. Below a sorcery point. Two of them. To quicken spell. What is it? Range sickness head. I'm trying to see if it's if I could put an extra point in because I would like to cast it at second level if I can, but. Okay, no, it's just okay, cool. So I'm just gonna cast two sorcery points to cast second level. What's it called? Resonance. $24 to hit.
24. It's a unarmored bird. I mean, it was your action to tie up all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it was I blew sorcery points to use it as a bonus action.
Okay.
If I have one free, yeah.
16. It's not hurt too badly. It's taking a couple of things, but it tries to you just hit it right above basically where Reed is. It slams into its neck and sort of greenish energy kind of bursts forth and showers Reed with these sort of greenish acrid sparks.
Alright. And it must make a Constitution saving throw.
How good is your Constitution, Rock? 26.
God damn.
I think that passed the DC 15.
So,
Hey, I got
pretty
16 damage
good.
and a
Something that big and beefy. No. I also remember why it keeps adding a -1 to your initiative, because rakish audacity your charisma is a -1, and D&D Beyond doesn't count that towards your initiative, but this sheet does.
To think
It
how
does say
charming
ma-
you are, it determines how fast you are.
It does, but you also it says you may add it.
Yeah, I'm
which is
just
why
saying
it shouldn't be.
this does
That's
add
why,
it, and it
It
just
just
does.
added.
You
adds
you
it.
had anytime you see it, just delete it. You have ownership over that sheet. You can change it however you want.
I just don't know where that is on this sheet.
Well, I already changed it, but when you open it, it's just initiative.
okay.
It says +0 or -1. It said -1. You just change it to 0. But that's why it's adding that.
Oh, like if I were to click initiative when I click the initiative roll.
Like if you double click your character sheet, it says initiative. The modifier is now +0 because I set it to 0. If it'll say -1, but it's doing that because rakish
Oh, okay.
audacity it's automatically doing rakish audacity.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
It goes from Klaus back to the top of the round. Joseph Smoke.
Hey. You said the rock is now adjacent to the boat?
It is now adjacent to the boat and tearing
he
into it.
He is within 90 feet.
Yes.
I'm gonna cast Hex on this motherfucker. And I'm gonna give him disadvantage on... I'm trying to think. Fuck it. Wisdom checks. He's gonna be an unwise bird. And then I'm gonna do the Eldritch Blast. That's a 20 to hit.
20 does manage to hit.
21 also hits.
So how much damage is that?
That was 11 plus 7, so that's 18. And then I rolled 2d6 for the heck. Plus another 6.
Grace, is the baby here? I bet she's bitching at squirrels.
Let's go.
Alright,
Yo, fuck you, squirrels.
a huge burst of eldritch energy passes from your hands. As this sort of strange bluish energy slams into it. Gracie, leave the fucking squirrels alone! Gracie! She might see the rabbits that live outside too. Alright, pretty solid damage. Gracie, I swear to God you're gonna go to the pound. That's not true. You would just kill her.
I mean, it's the same thing.
It's the good thing to do. All right, couple of good blows. Goes to Alec. Cool.
I. What's that? I'm going to use my action to cast Toll the Dead on it. So it's a DC 16 saving throw for 15 damage if it hits. And then I will use my bonus action to do the archer attack as well.
15 points of damage, is it? Only got a 12.
And 17 to hit for the archer for a D8 plus wisdom. So D8 plus 4. So 8 damage from the archer radiant damage.
Alright.
And that is it for me.
Alright. You toll the dead on it, causing it to once again veer slightly away from the boat before sort of crashing back into it. Lets out a terrible squaw, and it turns its attention from the boat to the people on the boat. As... Yeah, your corruptor been dismissed. It lurches into the air, and it's gonna lash out with its talons at you, Alec Cool.
Okay.
It'll be a... Oh, it's a bad roll. It's a 16.
I don't believe so. I think I got a 20, so no, that does not hit.
Let's see. And then it is going to reach out and try to chomp Joseph Smoke. Its beaky attack.
Man, fuck this thing.
That's another bad roll. I rolled fucking terrible. 3 and a 4, so it's only a 17.
Fuck, don't hit.
Alright. And then it is going to
Bruh.
use Flyby to avoid opportunity attacks, and it's just going to soar 100 feet back away from the boat.
Yeah, fuck off.
However, Reed is still on top of it, and the rope he's on is stretched precariously taut as it sails
Oh,
away.
no. Reed, you gotta let go.
As Reed,
Wait,
you
what
find
rope?
Reed is
I actually
attached-
didn't expect the rope to be that long.
Reed is attached by a rope, but as it sails 100 feet away, the rope goes taut, and you find yourself. Do you let go and fall, or do you try to hang on and keep the bird in place? Or do you tumble down, or do you cut it and stay on top of the bird? As it goes to your turn, I'll stop it right at 100 feet, as it's right at the edge of it.
I mean, if the bird's just trying to get away, yeah, I'll kick off of it and try to climb the rope back up to the boat.
I want to begin reeling him in if that's a possibility.
He can start. He can use his act. He can spend his turn climbing up, basically.
Okay.
Then yeah, we'll do that. I would, if the bird's getting that far away, I would scramble back up the rope.
All right.
Look, I'm being optimistic, but I'm not being stupid.
The bird is sort of, after attacking the boat and attacking you, it soars back 100 feet with surprising agility. But it's still flying parallel with you, Klaus, as you see Reed yanks himself back up over the edge after having a soar through the air on the back of this beast and then pulled himself up from a dangling rope. The ballista itself is still in readiness, and it is within range. It is only 100 feet away.
I guess I'm just gonna take an action. I'm gonna ready an action to for when the bird tries to swoop back again. I'm gonna try and shoot the harpoon like right in the joint of his wing,
Okay.
like kind of like there on that dragon.
Right. It goes to the top of the round. People are now scrambling around on deck as you hear Nipsey say, "Carrington, give me a damage report!" As you can see her metallic husband is sort of slowly making his way down below deck. You can see Yonduin yanks Janice inside of the cabin as people are scrambling about. Lincoln sort of begins scrambling around looking. He begins pulling out whatever concoctions he has. He has what appears to be two vials that are in his hand as he is preparing, eyeing the rock, preparing to throw them as it goes to Joseph Smoke. It is 100 feet away now.
All right. I'm gonna Eldritch Blast him again. That's an 18 and a 10. The 10 does not hit.
10
the
does
18
not hit,
does,
but
right?
the 18 does.
Okie dokie. That's 8 damage. Roll that d6 for that hex boy. That's a 5. That's 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 big dick damage.
Right. 13 big dick damage. As even from this distance, as it's sort of soaring alongside you, its glittering eyes gazing at you. Manage to catch it right into the wing joint and sort of send it tumbling back a little bit, but it catches up immediately. Goes to Alec Cool.
So it still ends up 100 feet away.
It is 100 feet away, yes.
I want to hold my action to when it gets close enough. I'm gonna try and jump on it.
Alright. It goes to Rock's turn. It flaps its wings furiously and it takes the dash action to give it a movement speed of 240 feet. And it soars straight up into the sky diagonally.
Oh no.
Till it is directly above you, the balloon blocking your line of sight to it as you're looking straight up in the sky. And it's the gondola, the balloon is between the gondola and the rock, but that was all of its turn, was to dash and fly.
Evasive actions! If I can call that out.
Goes Reed.
Not like I can do anything at this moment.
You're not 100% sure how high above it is, but you do know it is directly above.
Reed is going to brace himself and shout to Nipsey to get us out of here.
Right.
And that's about it, because that's all I can do.
She nods her head. Taking evasive actions! And they move at the start of the turn, so she'll have the chance to at the start of the turn. Klaus. This rock ain't no retard that's standing next to the gondola to get the shit beat out of him. He's using the skies to his advantage.
Yep, he's gonna do that hit and run shit. Hey Lincoln, do you have anything that'll slow him down?
He looks at you. Well, I got some things that might gum up his feathers a little bit.
Throw it on the bolt. Nipsey, give me a clear shot.
I might be able to get you a shot, but everyone's gonna have to hold on. As Lincoln will attach, technically, you're readying you're still having the action ready to fire off the thing, and at the start of the round, Lincoln is going to take a...
Is there a rope attached to it?
Yes. Yes.
I will cut it if I have to, but I'm hoping that we can just catch the fucking bird, honestly. If we can keep it from flying away and just keep it on deck, we might be able to fuck him up.
Yes, he has.
Wishful thinking,
He
but it's worth a shot.
has set it up, the harpoon, the bolt up to have a harpoon that is tied to the mast of the ship. And after that, since you're basically readying an action to fire the, basically the crossbow, the harpoon, it goes to the top of the round, which is when everybody is going to do, all the NPCs do their thing. Lincoln rushes to your side, and he takes the vial. It looks like it's a slightly viscous white liquid. You can see it's a surprisingly large vial. He actually unstoppers it, and he pours a very small amount on the end of the bolt. And then he puts it on, and almost he puts the vial itself where he poured it on, and almost immediately it sticks as he nods his head and says, "Sovereign glue ain't cheap, so you better make this shot work."
Just hoping.
As he has put a vial of sovereign glue at the end of the bolt, it looks like it'll make it a little bit harder to fire because it's throwing the stuff off, but not a lot.
Oh god, it's fucking burning cum jar.
It's Lincoln's cum jar. It makes sovereign glue out of semen.
Ew.
Alright, and at that point, Nipsey says, "Alright everyone, hold on, I'm gonna give you a shot!" As she yanks the wheel hard to the side, and it causes the gondola to twist a little bit wildly. It's like to everyone to make acrobatics checks. I hope Joseph Smoke falls off.
Acrobatic?
Acrobatics. Alright, everyone.
Wow. Turns out you needed less than a 19 to pass.
You actually need a 30,000. You all, as the gondola twists awkwardly and wildly, as she sort of turns the wheel to the side, which causes the gondola to slightly kick up a little bit, and it moves the balloon out the way just enough that you can catch the basically wing of it. It's not going to be an easy shot. It does still have a little bit of cover from the balloon, but it is giving you a shot.
Let's take it.
So everyone who passed can get a shot at it? Or
Everyone who passed doesn't go flying off the edge of it.
Oh, okay,
as,
okay. I see
from
what
the
you're saying.
evasive
Sorry.
maneuvers.
I misheard.
But
All
this
right,
goes
can I
to
fire this time now?
Yep.
Or is that on my turn?
That is, it's your ready to action. You have a shot.
Okay.
Not an easy
All right.
shot, but is a shot.
What is it? 120 plus what?
It's just your dexterity, so it's a range. It's basically a ranged attack.
Alright, so dex plus proficiency.
Yes, as long as you're proficient in crossbows.
Alright. 13. Not very good.
Unfortunately, the balloon being a little bit in the way, the weight being thrown off a little bit by the sovereign glue, the sort of way the rope attached to it kind of causes the bolt to list a little bit. It just passes between the shoulder joint of the the rock and its body, and sort of soars up. Eventually the rope goes taut with a thunk, and then it just sort of tumbles back to the ground. You can recover that bolt and reuse it, but it'll take a turn to pull it up and reload it, so it'll be a full turn of reloading.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was a miss, however. And after that shot, the gondola sort of settles back in place. Joseph Smoke. Unfortunately, the situation has not changed. The rock is still up there, but now the balloon is back to blocking it off, basically. This is directly above.
One second, let me look at this. So, I guess the ship isn't technically a creature, so I can't do that.
Somebody give the ship a personality.
Valley 2.0.
Where's Bally?
What kind of? Never mind. What is? Oh, that works. Okay, so can I cast? Oh no, again, I already have a concentration up. I can't do that without putting down the hex. Well, okay, no, he's flown too far away. The hex would be broken, right? If he leaves the range.
I believe hex remains as long as the casting range of hex only matters when you cast it.
Yeah, it's
okay.
like bless. It's just for the initial targeting they have to be in range. Other than that, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, never mind then. So it's not down. I don't want to break, and I don't want to end it. Can I? Colin, could I use Fine Steed to get a giant eagle and ride that?
Let me look up what Fine Steed is.
You summon a spirit that assumes the form of an unusually intelligent, strong, and loyal steed, creating a long-lasting bond with it, appearing in an unoccupied space within range. The steed takes on the form that you choose: a warhorse, a pony, a camel, an elk, or a mastiff. Your GM might allow other animals to be summoned as steeds. You let me do a shark to fight the fucking what's it called?
I'm trying
The
to see.
sea
I'm trying to
monster.
see how big a giant. Yeah, it's probably good enough. Yeah. If you want to summon a giant eagle and ride it, you can.
Cool. It's also going to be on fire.
Okay. Giant phoenix eagle.
An eagle named EDD.
All right, cool. I'm going to fucking summon that eagle, and I want to fly like straight at the rock. I want to start flying up at it.
All right. You run towards the edge of the gondola, and you jump off the edge, and at the same time you cast Mind Steed, and the air sort of solidifies, and with a burst of flame, a fiery eagle forms beneath you. You land on its back and begin soaring up into the sky. Off the side of the gondola and away from the balloon, you can see the rock itself is only about 60 feet in the air above the balloon itself.
I want to...
You begin soaring towards it.
Ah, shit. He's going to hit on his next turn. Colin, would the eagle have an... Oh, no, that'd be an attack. Well, the eagle has its own turn. Both in combat and out. Okay, I want the eagle to try and ram into the rock, and try to knock it off course, kind of. That way it misses.
Are you trying to Independence Day the thing?
I want to come at it. I want to blindside this motherfucker and hit him hard enough to knock him out of the way.
Oh, let's see when its turn falls up. Right, he's got an 8. Its turn.
Oh no.
So we will see.
Wait.
Alright. But you are aboard
Okay.
Giant Eagle.
I was seeing
Rolling
if this
around.
is one of those spells where it's like its initiative is right after yours or anything like that. No, it does have its own thing. Okay, cool.
Alright. After that, goes to Alec Cool. So yeah, basically you're sort of off the edge of the boat at this point. On the Eagle's turn, it will soar up with you, but for now you're sort of off slightly to the side of the boat.
Okay.
Alec Cool.
How far up did you say it was?
60 feet.
Like above 60 feet above the balloon?
Directly above the balloon, and the balloon is giving it the majority of cover, 3/4 cover, so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cast. Let's see. Can I climb on the balloon first?
Yes, you can climb up on the rigging, and sort of climb up the balloon. The rigging itself is about 30 feet high, or it's about 30 feet above the balloon. Maybe 20 feet.
So I'm gonna cast a jump on myself as an action. And then I'm going to dash and get as high as I can. Which would be 70 feet of movement.
Alright, 70 feet. If you're able to dash, you're able to climb up to the top of the balloon at the very least. Sort of, it's not the world's easiest climb, but it's also not terribly difficult, as there's, like I said, it's got netting and rope across it that holds the balloon in place, as you're able to scale. Your forearms quickly dart out and grab the ropes. Bracing yourself against the wind of the airship soaring by, you climb to the top of the balloon, canvas balloon, and find it's a little bit disconcerting to stand on the balloon. That does have a little bit of give whenever you stand on it. It sort of feels awkward. You see the rock soaring 60 feet above the balloon.
Cool. Yeah, I'm assuming I don't have any movement left. That's all I want to do.
Oh yeah.
Well,
No.
I can use my bonus action to do the 60 feet attack for my ranged thing. The D8. So that's the damage. Why did it roll 2? Whatever the first.
7
Yeah.
plus
So
whatever.
now I hit. Well, 7 plus. What does it add? I don't think it adds anything. Bonus action, ranged attack is all it says.
It's a ranged spell attack, so it uses your spell attack modifier.
It does, okay. So my spell attack is plus 8.
Not quite.
So that is a 50.
Oh yeah. You know what? It's no longer blocked by the balloon. That'll just manage to nick it in the wing.
Cool. So it does 12 damage. Sick.
As you sort of quickly climb up, dashing with all your speed, you find yourself at the top of the balloon. Use your action to cast a small ethereal arrow up at it, as it manages to just nick it in the wing, as it causes it to veer to the side slightly. But its eyes. Is there anything else from Alec Cool?
That's it.
Alright. Its eyes sort of focus downwards. As you can see, Alec Cool, you get a bird's eye view to this rock tucking its wings in to dive. As its body flattens and it arches out one talon to strike out at the balloon as it's just falling with disgusting speed. Is this going to make one attack against the balloon with its talons? It's going to be a 26. Your face falls slightly. As you can see, it reaches out and its talon just manages to catch the edge of the balloon and open a basically a 3-foot long gash in it. as you can see it sort of push outwards as the balloon begins losing air. Not super fast. It's a huge balloon, but it's a hole that's going to have to be dealt with as it soars past the balloon, down, scorching with terrible speed at... Joseph Smoke is off to the side. It'll make a beak attack against you as it's diving.
Alright.
It's a really bad roll. Against a player, it is literally rolling 3s.
Well, it doesn't hit me.
That was to me anyway.
Yeah, it didn't
And no, it does
attack
not
you.
hit.
Thought you're.
Oh, I thought it said it was Joseph. It was gonna attack Joseph Smoke on his way down.
It hit Joseph Smoke on the way down.
Okay. Well, either way.
On its dive. It attacked the balloon. It attacked Joseph Smoke. Missed. Joseph Smoke, you get an opportunity attack because you have a 10-foot range.
Hey. 25 hit.
25 does hit.
That's 3 of its cold damage. I don't know. He's flying type. I don't know.
Doesn't really make a difference.
Damn.
How much damage total?
Oh. You get 7 and 3, so 10.
Right. As it tucks its wings in, scorches past you, opening up a hole in the balloon, soaring downwards and moving its full movement to attack Joseph Smoke, and then soar past him. So he's now 30 feet below the gondola. It goes to Reed.
30 feet below, you say?
Yes, he just dove through the air, and like I said, he's not an idiot.
Alright, well, here we go again. And Reed is going to, because I'm still lashed to the side of the thing, right?
Yes.
Nah, because apparently it's a really long rope. I don't know if I'd be able to. I'll go and I'll help reload the, I'm gonna undo the rope and then I'm gonna go help reload the ballista.
Okay, you can use your action to reload the ballista. That's fine. And get the rope undone.
Alright. I was thinking about doing something crazy, but nah.
Alright. You do help make sure everything is in readiness for the ballista. You make sure you yank it in and you make sure that it's primed for another shot with the sovereign glue bolt. Goes to the giant eagle. He's a fly boy. He can get to this rock that's 30 feet below. This giant eagle has 80 feet of fly.
You said it's now dove past the ship?
Yes, it is now
Yeah, so
below
past
the
the ship.
ship.
It's
Oh,
underneath
okay, yeah,
us.
cool,
30 feet
yeah.
underneath us.
100% he will dive down. Does he have like a beak attack or anything that he can do then?
He can make 2 attacks. A beak attack and a talon attack.
Alright, let me get one of each.
Alright. He will soar down 30 feet. His talons outstretched. Despite the fact that this eagle is giant, he's dwarfed by this rock. But he still reaches out with his beak and his talons. The beak manages to dig itself into the flesh of the back of the rock. For 4 points of damage. However, unfortunately, the talons just find little more than the giant rock's feathers.
Damn.
That one does not hit. But you are now 30 feet below the gondola. The problem with the elevation is it doesn't let me do minus numbers. Which is fucking stupid. Oh wait, there it is. It's 30 down with him. Alright. Goes to Klaus. Looking over the edge, you can see the rock 30 feet below. It's a difficult angle to push down, but you can get a shot on him.
I think I'm gonna wait until he levels out.
Ready in action?
Yeah, I'm gonna ready in action. When he gets to the same height as us, I'm gonna take another shot.
Alright. Joseph Smoke. Oh wait, technically, top of the round. It goes to the NPC's turn. For the most part, really the only person up here fighting is Lincoln, Yonduin, and Janice, obviously. Not really fighters. He is going to throw down a vial of one of the vials that he had in his hand. That is a critical fail for him. One. It soars off over the edge, and just kind of tumbles away as Lincoln says, "Damn it!" Nipsey will continue evasive maneuvers. Joseph Smoke, it's your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna whack the shit out of this bird. There's a 23 hit.
23 does manage to hit.
Alright. 12 does not, though.
12 does not.
That first one's gonna be a Divine Smite. Alright, so that's 11 regular damage, 3 cold damage, 14 total on the attack. Let me roll that 3d8 right. Plus another 11 on the d8. What the fuck? What did I roll?
Alright.
Oh, a 3, a 7, and a 1. Okay.
How much damage total?
That's 11 plus 14, so 25.
Did you add in your hex damage?
Oh, that's right. Use another piece. Thank you for reminding me, Carl. Another 4.
Hey, pretty good blow against him as atop
9.
your mighty eagle, you bring the chains down onto the back of the rock, and they burst forth with divine energy as it lifts its head up with a terrible That was a significant blow that hurt it quite badly. You smell the terrible smell of singed flesh and singed feathers. But is there anything else from Joseph Smoke?
No, that's what I got.
Goes to Alec Cool. Currently, the beast is 30 feet below you.
Well, 30 feet below the actual gondola.
The gondola, yes.
balloon
The
still.
gondola, yes. It is 30 feet below the gondola itself.
Okay, so I do not know mending. Is there anything I can do to stop the balloon from being,
If
open?
you could, if you had something on you that could at least temporarily bring the pieces together, or there was a way to sort of cover the hole, yeah. It could be as simple as, like, grabbing both ends and holding it together as tight as you can. If you wanted to try to do something. Like I said, it's a big hole, but considering the size of the balloon, you're not tumbling to the ground. It's more like a slow leak at this point.
rope, and I have just a regular dagger. I'm going to go up to the hole, and with my bigger hands, grab each side and pull it close together, and use my smaller hands to like use the dagger and the rope to like stitch it up. Really poorly, I might add, but I'm gonna try and stitch it up to like keep it from spreading any farther, and maybe just like close it some.
I like it. That's an interesting idea. It almost makes me wish we were playing Savage World, so I could just say make a repair check. Make a... Give me a... trying to think of what sewing would be. We'll just make it a very simple... well, not simple, but we'll make it a dexterity check.
So like,
Give me a straight dexterity check.
dexterity check.
It's awkward, but you're able to sort of do it. All right, that's a good check. You rush to the hole and you throw yourself onto it. Like I said, it's almost this strange feeling of give. You can feel the air, the warmed air that is pushing out from the balloon. It's this sort of weird contrast of the cold air around you in this sort of upper atmosphere area and the hot air from the heated balloon. But you throw yourself at it and with all your strength yank it together, and with your small arms you begin taking, you do a very rough stitch job. You know that it will not hold. It is not going to suffice for a long time, but for now, at the very least, it should keep the balloon afloat until you can find a good place to set it down and make a patch on it. Like I said, you got part of the lumber and the supplies that you got for patching was canvas and stuff like that. But it's good. It's fine. It'll hold.
And is it directly below the ship where the...
It's not directly below the ship. It's slightly to the side of the ship.
So if I were to jump down, I could probably land on it?
You could try. You would have to reach out and grab it. It would be a grapple check against it.
A grapple check? Okay. Well, let's see. Is it like opposed, or or is it just like
it is
I have to hit a
it is a
certain number?
grapple check, so it is an opposed check.
Okay. Well, I will just like slide down as far as I can to the deck, as far as I can with 35 feet, so I can't get all the way down, but I'm gonna get some down.
Probably not a bad idea. It would be pretty hard to latch onto this beast whenever it also doesn't want you to be latched onto it.
Yep.
Alright. It'll go from Alec Cool to the Roc. The Roc itself is going to almost with surprising deftness spin about in the air. It's gonna kick out at Joseph Smoke with its talons. Wow, it's rolling real bad. It's not rolled above a 4 against a player, actually.
Damn.
And it is going to lash out with its beak. We'll do it against the giant eagle. It'll be a 28 versus the giant eagle.
Oh, of course the giant eagle gets fucking whacked.
That is versus a 13. It definitely hits. It rips open a gash across the breast of this giant eagle, and the eagle manages to maintain its flight, but it's hurt bad. And it's having trouble keeping itself aloft.
Damn.
It's still got 100. Ah, fuck it. It's still got a pretty significant hit points, a health point pool. It'll take the opportunity attack from Joseph Smoke and soar back up into the skies.
You will
Oh,
also
no.
take my ballista shot.
Yes, that's why I want him to do it.
Please, for the love of God, fucking hit this guy.
20 hit him, Colin.
A 20 does.
That's 12 plus 4, 16. Oh, plus a d6.
Plus d6.
Another 4, so that's 20 damage.
Alright. Soaring up
And the
into
ballista.
Now the ballista shot. The 22?
He actually rolled at 22.
That's good. It manages to slam into the side of the bird. The vial at the end, due to the fact that there was a vial at the end, it only deals a d6 damage, but it spreads glue all across him and binds the ballista to him, as he is now attached to the ship. And that is by a 100-foot length of rope. So he is able to get to his height of plus 30 feet, but he is now bound to the ship. He is 30 feet up in the sky, off to the side, so he's not above the balloon itself, he's sort of up. But now he is bound to the ship. As it goes to Reed.
Okay. So he's bound to the ship, but I'm assuming this is like a. I mean, he's just bound by like whatever the glue is or whatever, or
Yes,
you said a rope.
sovereign glue and a rope.
Okay.
And he's tied to the rope is tied to the mast.
Okay. We don't really have a way to like
Well, it's
pull
not,
the
it's
rope in against him.
probably you can try to yank him in. That would be an opposed athletics check or an strength check.
Yeah, and he's fucking gargantuan, and I'm tiny as shit.
He is quite powerful.
God, it's just kind of annoying because there's really not much I can personally do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just continue to reload the ballista for Klaus.
All right, you might be something to get upgraded on the ship or weapon stations. But you do reload the ballista this time with a standard bolt. One that has one of the broadhead ballista areas that they arrows that deal significant damage. As it goes from Reed to Giant Eagle, just Smoke, your Giant Eagle is fucked up.
Yeah, Giant Eagle, fly us back up to the ship. You can get out of here. I'm gonna dismiss him.
Alright, smeared with eagle blood, the Giant Eagle dutifully flies you up to the ship as you are able to, and lands on it as you're able to step off, and almost immediately its feathers molt away and it disappears with a burst of divine flame.
Hell yeah.
It did its job. as it is now gone. Goodbye, giant eagle. Klaus. The crossbow has been conveniently reloaded for you, and the bird is only 30 feet away.
Yeet.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Klaus?
I said yeet.
Right.
21 to hit with that ballista.
It pierces straight into the breast of the rock, dealing 4d6 damage.
12 points of damage.
Perfectly balanced.
As all things.
As the rock is now beaten,
Perfectly
bloody,
balanced.
perfectly
As all
balanced.
things should be.
All things should be. As it pierces into the breast of the rock and it sort of soars to the side, tugging at the rope, you can see it's still flying, but it's hurt pretty badly. Joseph Smoke.
Is it my turn?
Yes. Unless Klaus has
Hey.
something else he would, well, if
Oh.
Klaus would want to move.
No, I'm gonna stay on my ballista station. I'm gonna get something real quick.
I'm Eldritch Blasting. There's a 15 hit.
15 just manages to hit.
26.
I mean, yeah, if the 15 hits.
That's 9 damage from the heck.
Alright, how much damage total?
That's 9 plus 14. Oh, I rolled max damage on the second one. Nice. So that's 23, and plus another 10. That's 33 damage.
Alright. Hurt pretty badly as it slams into him. The blast sending these almost faintly iridescent blue feathers flying away. Alec, cool.
Okay. How far away is it now?
It is now, if you were on the side of the balloon.
I went down 35 feet from wherever I was.
It's technically 30 feet above the gondola.
So about level with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
About level with you. If you're on the side of the balloon, it'd probably be maybe 15 feet above you, maybe 10, somewhere. It's sort of changing as it moves around, but it's roughly 10 to 15 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna I wanna jump and grab onto the rope.
Sure.
Do I need to do
The
acrobatics or something?
yes. Just grabbing onto the rope with that, I'll let you do an athletics. It's tough hold, but you do manage to grab onto the rope. Like I said, the rope itself is a 100-foot rope, and he's 30 feet away, so it's a slack rope. But you do sort of manage to grab onto it about 15 feet below where it's attached to the bird.
And I guess I just try and progress up at him.
Okay. You start climbing up the rope.
Was jumping my action?
It's part of your movement. I'm sort of I'm kind of allowing it that way since it's not on a map or anything, so.
Okay. Well, I guess I will use my Toll the Dead on it.
Right, it does hit him.
20 damage,
Alright.
and then I do the bonus action thing. Ooh, that does not hit. That's only a
Right.
13.
Alright. As
Unless
you
a 13 hits.
holding on to the rope, the bird sort of as you cast Toll the Dead, there's a clanging sound, and as it strikes the bird, you can see its eyes sort of faintly flicker out and turn up into its head as its wings fall limp. And it just sort of tucks away and begins falling to the ground.
If that's the case, I want to use my bonus action to fucking cut the rope. If that's possible.
You can try.
And I will also, in that time, yell at them to fucking get rid of the rope's attachment.
I'll allow
me on it or not.
Give me a straight dexterity check, basically for your reaction time of this happening. Not quite fast enough, as the bird just kind of lists downward and plummets through the air.
Do I at least yell at them?
Yes, yelling's at a free action to start, like, cutting the rope, essentially, that,
Or just get rid of it.
As it, automatically just falls, and Sovereign Glue is, obviously Sovereign Glue, it is permanently sticky, as this huge gargantuan carcass just falls, and with a sudden jerk, the gondola is just yanked to the side as the rock is held in place. Everyone on the ship, give me an acrobatics check.
All right.
That wasn't a good one.
Oh boy.
Same.
Oh, Klaus isn't here.
Klaus gets... Yeah. It's 27. Klaus is fine. Obviously, well, Alec could. He's not on the gondola. There is, as the dead rock tumbles to the ground, attached by the rope and by the, basically by Sovereign Glue to the mast, it yanks the gondola to the side, and more important, it also yanks it down a solid 10 feet almost instantly as everyone is holding on, braced. Yeah. That is not for the rock, but Nipsey also managed to hold on. I forgot to roll for Nipsey. However, Joseph Smoke, you are tossed over the edge. As the gondola is just yanked away, finding yourself free falling through air.
Can I Misty Step
You can't,
and
yes.
grab the edge?
You want to expend the spell slots, you can. As you sort of find yourself plummeting over the air, as, like I said, you see this almost like this terrible dead anchor of a rock now yanking the ship down. You tumble for about 20 feet before your senses return to you, and you bamf, immediately turning to mist as you fly back up on the ship, managing to appear just over the edge and clutching to the banisters, the railing on the side of the ship, as the rock is continuing to be, as the rock itself is continuing to be an anchor that is yanking the ship itself down, as you hear Alec Cool yelling to cut the line. It is going to go. The rock is dead. It goes to Reed. The ship is rapidly being pulled down. It is attached to the rock by Sovereign Glue. On one end, it is attached to the mast, the other end. However, unfortunately, Alec Cool is also on the rock's end, clinging to the rope.
All right.
Oh, I did yell at you.
This is something that I can do.
Just cut the rope.
I'm gonna pull out my sword and start whacking at the rope.
Alright, you're cutting it from the mast end?
Yes.
Right. You don't have to...
Reed's gonna leap off and just start cutting with me.
Alright. You are able to...
I'm coming, buddy!
Begin... you don't have to roll anything like that. You just run to it,
Good thing all of us are dead.
And you rush to the mast and slash your sword across it, and with the one easy cut, the top line goes with a loud tink, and all of a sudden the Rock and Alakul begin plummeting to the ground with incredible speed. Klaus, you see this. From your height, it's roughly 300 feet to the ground. And you can see Alakul and the Rock are plummeting. Is there anything you can do to... you yourself to help Alakul?
Klaus still isn't here.
Alright. Joseph Smoke, is there anything you can do to help Alakul as he's plummeting to the ground?
I can't grab the rope.
Well, the rope's gone, homie.
The rope is gone. As soon as he hit it, the thing started plummeting. As soon as he cut it, the thing
God.
started
I don't
falling.
know if you've seen a rope with that much
to this?
weight fall, but it's gone.
And they're falling fast. They were 30 feet.
If you had grabbed onto it, you would have been gone too.
What happened?
Basically, the Rock died. It's acting, because it's attached by sovereign glue, it's acting as an anchor that was yanking the gondola down. They cut the rope at the mast end. Now the Rock is falling with Alakul attached, and it's 300 feet to the ground. And they're trying, and as they're basically seeing Alakul plummet 300 feet to the ground with the Rock.
How long was the rope?
The rope itself was a 100-foot length of rope, and
But
it was already at the length of its 100 feet because it had died and was yanking it.
And
down.
I was like 5 feet away.
Yeah,
from
so he'd be like,
the Rock.
and
I'd be
as
like
soon
on
as
the
it
end of it.
as soon as it got cut, he started falling. There's a falling speed for every turn, not every round.
Alright, I'm gonna... Fuck. I guess I cast Fine Steed again. I make the eagle dive for Nick.
What's the range of Fine Steed?
30 feet.
Alright, so you summon it 30 feet below you, and I'll say you allow it, I'll even let it go ahead and go as it starts falling to the ground as fast as it can. Trying its best to gain speed on this flailing rock, and it does gain some ground. As it goes to you, Alakul, you can see there is an eagle that is soaring down towards you, a giant eagle, but considering you are whenever like I said, the rock died and it was acting as an anchor on a 100-feet rope, so it was already 100 foot below as soon as the rope was cut, and then it started plummeting every turn at 60 feet per turn. So you were at 280 feet or so ish, maybe about 300. So the rock, the eagle itself is 250 feet above you. Or not 250 feet. That's wrong. It was 100 feet plus 60 plus 60 is 220 minus 30. So 190 feet above you.
The eagle is
The eagle is
190
190 feet above you that he just summoned, and it's falling down it's soaring down towards you, gaining some speed.
Okay.
And the rock is falling very fast, 60 feet per turn. Over 300 feet, so it's 5 turns. Technically 3 turns, because you have passed.
Let's see. So when the eagle is in range, I want to jump off at it, and I'm going to use my Mantis Claw's ability, the Fate, and I don't want to roll now. I will roll when it gets into range, if it even does, and I will choose even.
Alright. I mean, you're, no. Control F5. Jump. Fuck you, boundary. Plummeting through the air, you look up with some... I imagine there's at least a little bit of worry that is going through your head as you're just watching the gondola disappear above you as you...
No, because if anything happens to Alec Cool, he believes it's fated, so if he dies, he's okay with it.
Well, that's fair. Let's see. I'm looking at what your high jump is right now.
Because the right green thing is just plus 10 feet on whatever the
Pretty
regular
much.
jumping is.
It's 3, plus your strength modifier for a high jump. Plus you've got jump cast on you still, I believe, because you cast jump when you were on the balloon. So you've got a pretty good vertical leap at this point.
I don't remember how much.
As you
How long
see the eagle...
it's a minute, but it's so it
I'm
should
still
be
like
early.
I'm still sort of counting it all together. It doesn't matter if a minute's passing more. It's more about thematic stuff that's going on right now. As the rock tumbles through the sky, and you can see the ground getting closer and closer, and the gondola getting farther and farther away, all save this speck of this giant eagle that is soaring, its wings tucked down, its feathers fluttering as it under Joseph Smoke's sort of direction. It soars to the ground. Right before the rock sort of seems to hit within the last maybe 50, 40 feet, you take a flying leap up off of the rock, sort of with all your might, springing backwards, or springing away, sending the rock flying. You leap up at the giant eagle, and you have to try to grab it. As you fly up, it is an athletics check to hold on to it.
So, the leap. So I leapt up, so I was just, that would have been the 20, I guess. So this is just, okay, got 4.
You soar through the air, attempting to grab the eagle, and you do manage to latch onto it. However, you don't manage to get onto it exactly in time, as you do manage to hold on to it, but it's a little bit too low, and despite the eagle's best efforts as it sort of lifts its wings out the side, and it does manage to start bracing your fall, it's not quite enough, as you and the eagle both slam into the ground with a sickening sort of crunch. We roll fall damage, plus it's half fall damage from the eagle helping you. Alright. Half damage from 300 feet. Oh, 200 feet than that. You take 33 points of bludgeoning damage. And so does the eagle as well, which means the eagle just immediately disappears.
I mean, the eagle just disappears. Like, that's inconsequential.
As you land with a sickening crunch next to the rock.
33 is all the damage? Wow.
You only took half damage.
66 damage wouldn't have actually killed me either.
The max fall damage you can take is 20d6.
Okay.
So I just rounded it down to 10d6 and rolled that. But half damage because the eagle did at least brace your fall. It did slow your fall enough that it's 33 points of damage it's not a it's a pretty painful hit.
What?
It ain't nothing.
If I wasn't level 10 or whatever the fuck I am at this point, I would have been easily knocked down.
It ain't nothing. You are shaken and hurt pretty badly. I'd say obviously it's the type of thing that would leave you shaken pretty badly and sore, sort of falling prone with a. As you can see, you're surrounded by smoke as the eagle just disappears. Up on the gondola, you do see as the gondola is still slowly descending, but you just see the huge of dust as you see Joseph Smokes and the eagle slam into the ground. As Dipsy goes, ah! Holy crap! You think he's okay?
We should.
What do you mean? Do you think he's okay? He just fell 300 feet.
We should still at least go get the body.
Slowly, the airship tumbles. Until finally it sets down on the ground next to the massive rock, crumpled and broken on the ground. And for a moment you fear for your friend Alakul, but then you can see him on the ground, slowly moving, slowly sitting up. His carapace has cracks in a couple of places. There's this sort of greenish blood that is coming from the cracks. He looks incredibly dazed and stunned, as I imagine falling that far would, but he is moving and he is slowly standing up. Holy crap!
God, sit down for the love of God. Don't stand
It's
up.
fine.
We don't trade lives, Bugman.
You took 33 points of damage, but I'm also like, you're a little bit stunned, at least.
No, so I'll be okay.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Alright. Sort of,
Enough.
are able to, all of a sudden you find, helpful hands of your friends on you, Alakul, as they support you. Many of them having leapt over the side of the gondola and run to you, as, you stagger forward. Joseph Smoke says, "Where's my damn eagle?"
I don't know what happened to the eagle.
Bro, your eagle's gone.
But no, you also find yourself in friendly hands as you're helped back to the ship. As Nipsey goes, "Oh, shit."
I don't go back to the ship. I'm fucking tearing up this rock.
You
Yeah, I
can
don't
you
wanna
can try
follow.
to harvest stuff from him. Go ahead. One of you can make a nature check. I imagine with advantage. You probably want to pick
Him's
whoever's
good eating.
whoever's got the best nature wants to harvest from it with advantage because y'all are helping him.
I have a +1.
Let's see.
I have a +0.
I have +0.
Minus
I
No
one.
wisdom.
I am not that kind of druid.
All right, we got
So
the
no-
+1 with the advantage. Let's go.
And guidance. And guidance.
And guidance, yes. It is a check. So it's whoever's rolling it has advantage and a +4.
That's
plus
a-
All right,
D4.
first roll 7.
Right. That's a lot
That's a
better.
that's a
That's
non-net
a lot
20.
better.
That's-
Plus a D4.
3, 23,
23.
Colin.
All right, you find yourself the rock itself is smashed the fuck up. As you
good
move
eating.
to its beak, you can see its beak is cracked really badly, but you are able to find some very nice voluminous kind of feathers. You get like solid 10 rock feathers. They're massive feathers.
Yo,
each
make a
one-
fucking cape.
Each one about the length of your forearm, likely enough to make a cape, a rock feather cape, or something else. And you also get a solid, like, maybe 3 or 4 days worth of meat for the entire crew.
Cool.
Alright,
Him's good eating.
I'm gonna go pee real fast, and then we will move on with
I
the
need to
next
walk
vignette. But I will. Alright, so we return. The Sky Reaver has been significantly damaged by the rock attack. The initial attack, like I said, caused some pretty damn significant damage to the gondola itself. It didn't like rip massive holes out or anything, but there are several beams that have been cracked. There are a couple of boards that have been yanked out. There's a couple of holes that you can easily fit an arm through where its talons sunk in and dug wood away. But all that, compared to the balloon damage, is minimal. A 3-foot long gash on the balloon is pretty significant, and you can already see the short time you've been down on the ground, and since the short time since that gash has happened, the balloon is starting to sag and deflate as Nipsey is rushing about, pulling out canvas from below deck, saying, Carrington, we have to repair this.
I want to.
I'm gonna help Nipsey.
I'm gonna take a second level spell slot. I'm gonna go up to Carrington. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go to Nipsey, and I'm gonna go to Klaus, and I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder. Say, you got this. I'm gonna cast Spider Climb on each of them.
Surprisingly useful to help them get,
Nice.
as they're easily able to, with the help of the spider climb, they're not only able to cling to the rigging that leads up to them, but to the balloon itself, as they're able to easily manipulate themselves on this, around this 3-foot long gash. As Nipsey is going to climb up there with you. As you can see, her face is pretty grim as she looks at it. She says, I don't guess you're much of a tailor, are you?
I'm getting better at it. I'm better than terrible, and that's what we need.
She sort of nods her head, and you've brought up a very large bolt of canvas, easily enough to cover this 3 feet, as well as various tools. You can see as you've climbed up, Carrington, after a moment, joins you. He has he's having to sort of hoist himself to the riggings, but his metallic automaton forge is able to hold himself to the riggings as easily as like a clamp does, as surely as any sort of mechanical clamp does, and he's able to sort of hold out his hands, and whenever he holds out his hands, they transform into pretty much any tool you want. As his hands, all of a sudden his fingers, she says, Carrington, give me some scissors, as his fingers sharpen, and he extends his hands, and he starts cutting through canvas.
Yo, he's Inspector Gadget. That's fucking great.
And she cuts off what appears she thinks is a suitable length of a canvas, probably about 5 feet long, enough to really cover the seams. As she says, and she pulls out like a large thread and some needles, and she says, it's not going to be perfect, but you can get a pretty good seal on it. It's not the worst hole not the worst hole I've ever dealt with, but it's pretty bad. As the 3, you can see Carrington also extends his pinky finger, and it's all of a sudden sharpens to like a needle, and he's able to attach the thread to it, as well as the 3 of you begin basically stitching in a patch on this. As she tells you, you need to weave the stitching as tightly, as finely as you can.
Gonna do. All we gotta do is make it to the capital.
Alright. Go ahead and... Or she sort of nods her head, or at least someone that can cast men. Go ahead and give me a dexterity weaver's tools check, or tailor's tools, whichever.
Alright, so that would be dexterity. Unnatural 20.
Pretty roll. I'll say you've got... I thought you were proficient in weaver's tools.
No, I'm getting proficiency.
Oh, you're
in
working on
tools
it. Well,
now.
this helps you a lot, as you're able to really get a good look, and you're able to do some pretty significant stitching, really tight. And the 3 of you, Carrington's is not perfect. You might not, surprisingly enough, despite the fact that he is an automaton. The 3 of you are able to work at stitching this patch across the canvas, and between Klaus and Carrington, Nipsey, you're able to get a pretty significant patch over it, well enough that you do see, much to your happiness, the balloon starts to reinflate. There's likely still a little bit of leakage, but the heat from the engines pumping it, sort of pumping the heat in, that is going to be enough to keep it inflated. At least until you get to the capital and are able to find perhaps a little bit more of a permanent, strong solution, such as a magical spell. Nipsey sort of pats you on the back and says, "Good job."
Oh, thank you. Now let's hope that it stays.
Well, as long as we're down here, we might as well rest for the day on the ground. Me and Carrington can maybe have an overview of the gondola damage in the morning. I think we'll be able to set out. Gondola damage, it's annoying, but it's not devastating like the balloon damage was.
That's why we bought wood.
Yeah. At the very least, we can make it till Hogsend, and then we can sit down a little bit more permanently. Not permanently, but at least for a few days.
Where the hell is Hog's Zen?
Ah,
Bob was in there with the party. That was,
yes, you have not been there yet. In fact, right now I'm the only person who's been there.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Yondar and what's her on Lysanthia are both on the boat though.
And
Aren't
Leondar and
They were
Lysanthia both had. They're now, unfortunately, just cruise ship hands, so they're basically NPC. You spend the night on the ground, are able to take a long rest, recover from the rock fight. And in the morning, the sun rises and the air is slightly cloudy. And lift up into the air, limping your way towards Hogsend. You were pretty close to Hogsend. You were only about 3 days out. Well, not 3 days out. A week out. It's 7 days. Ish. 7-ish days. Before you finally start running low on supplies. The last couple days, the meals are a little bit scant, but they're adequate. And soon you see familiar landscapes. You see the same kind of familiar lanes that you basically helped a carriage man, a merchant on that during the first adventure, the first time you came to Hogsend. You can see the buildings that are still there. All of them seemingly repaired from that night with the Redeemer and the Undead. You can see the forge, the smoke coming from it, the chimney, sort of, if I can spell fucking Stallreich right, thank you. The steam sort of plunging up from Harald's forge. The place where a couple of you made your stand, where the forge master Harald was killed, and leaving only his apprentice to do the smithing work. And there, down, you see the Sow's Regard, where you first, the inn you all first met in, owned by Alden Hatcher, where you first met Nini Schmidt, or Nanette Schmidt, who goes by Nini, this very sweet, if a little bit scatterbrained girl with sort of mousy pin curls and somewhat large, and she has somewhat large buck teeth, where you first encountered the Redeemer and, more importantly, her brother Algernon, one of his apprentices. All of this sort of comes flooding back as the airship sort of slowly limps over the town and begins to descend. And your descent obviously draws out quite a few interested parties. Understandably. You know, that is the type of thing that is not seen a lot. An airship around here is much like when you went to Primrose. It's unusual, it's weird, and so that causes people to really rush out and look with excitement. A small group gathers around, and Reed, you can see, sort of towards the front, the same sort of mousy-haired, sweet-eyed, buck-toothed girl, her hair in a small bonnet, Nini, the barmaid. as she looks on a little bit odd, her brown eyes just wide, her mouth slightly agape. You can see the blacksmith's apprentice there, now bearing the full markings of a blacksmith. His brown apron covered in soot, his hands slightly burned, his eyebrows missing. All of them are there looking completely a little bit shocked but excited. The gondola sets down with a gentle thud, and you're able to depart.
All right. Well, Reed would descend depart as soon as he could, and see. So we saw Nini in the back. Do we see Algernon?
You do not see him.
All right. Well then, let's go talk to Nini then. But first I would introduce the guys to Hogsend, since they are new here, this was the village where the original group first met.
Yes, Reed, your mind can't help but flash back to that first night. The night of basically Halloween, essentially. Whenever you found yourself trying to celebrate with this group, this village, having wandered into it, and Halloween, where they light this incredible sort of effigy on fire, and the children all dance around the effigy, and adults dressed as monsters are supposed to like rush towards the effigy and pretend to attack the children, and whenever the children sort of turn and swing sticks at them, they're supposed to run away and drop candy and stuff. And the sort of stunning and fear that you were filled with whenever the monsters actually attacked, when it wasn't actually humans but it was actually zombies that were staggering into the town, as each of you held up in a particular building. Some of you in the blacksmith, some of you in the Sal's Regards, some of you in the general store. I'm not gonna immediately remember who was in which one. It's been a long time, but let's see. Actually, I've got the notes right here. Karakwa and Lysanther ended up in the town store with two women. Gustav in the mayor's office with Nini, Nini's younger sister and Dag. Ito and Reed were in the Sal's Regard with Alden, the innkeeper, Bayora, and Henley and Yondar were in the smithy, town smith and his apprentice.
God, I don't recall that.
Thanks.
I mean, it was
many months ago, but thanks, notes. Basically, and you were sort of held up in these various buildings and did manage to hold off long enough to meet the Redeemer and then defeat the big old bulking asshole that he sent after you. Lives were lost. Like I said, the town smith was killed. His apprentices had to take over, but for the most part, everything seems exactly as you would expect it to be for a nice little quaint country town. Fucking village music, go. Young man, there's no need to be down, I say, young man. There we go.
Drop your pants to the ground.
I say, young man.
Oh my god.
Bend over, I'm a pound. Alright, that's sufficiently village music. The excited eyes of the villagers glitter as they gather around you, many of them asking, "Where the hell did you come from? I've never seen anything like that. Did you see it flies through the air like a bird?" That kind of thing. The type of odd and excited things you would expect to hear from quaint country folk that have never seen an airship.
It's flies more like a whale.
You can see, there, as you say that, a girl says, I ain't never heard of no whales before. And this is, but Reed, you recognize Nini. Her, face still bright and... She was not a smart girl, but she was very sweet.
Yeah. Oh, was it Nini who said she hasn't seen a whale, or?
Yes, she ain't know what whales are. I heard of tales, but I not heard of whales. She always had a way of saying words wrong. She would say things like deliciousness.
They're like cows, but like the size of a building and in the water.
She smiles, revealing her buck teeth. Nods her head. I know about cows. I've pulled their utterances before. It takes a second for me to remember their verbal quirks, because she had a very particular one where she says words wrong.
Just trying to think about what to actually do. I just noticed that even if Connor and Tommy were here, I'd still be the only one who's been here before.
Yep.
I guess I'll just address Nini. Well, Nini, it's good to see you again. It's been a while since we've been back this way.
She kind of looks at you a little bit vacantly for a moment, but you can see her eyes kind of narrow for a second, and then there's a look of recognition as she says, I remembrance you.
I'd hope so.
No,
we played a...
We don't get many halflings around here. How could I forget? Especially not on nights like that night.
Yeah, it was fun playing as the monsters for the Halloween... Or sorry, what's it called? Hallows Eve? Hallows End?
I can't remember, honestly. It was generic Halloween name that I would have to actually look up in the Stallreich document. Which I can look at pretty easily just by clicking on Stallreich and going down to
Hallows End.
Hallows End, yes. She sort of looks, she sort of smiles at you and she says, it's been, what, 11 months since then, right?
Something like that.
And then she sort of said, even has a bigger grin as she says, you're the one that sent Algie back. He says he remembers you. He says he remembers all of you.
Great to hear. Where's Algie at now?
Right about now, he's looking after our sister. He's out, he started planting fields and, he's been helping everyone in the town. He said he owes it to everyone. Says it's his penitence. Penance. As she's sort of awkward.
You stopped. Your mic stopped, like, after the word penitence.
Nope.
Oh no, technical malfunction!
Oh,
In.
there
you go.
There you go. I half unplugged it because I was pulling on the plug with my toes. she plays with the word penance and penitence as if she's unsure which one to use, but then she just says, he feels like he owes it to the town after what happened.
At that, Reed just smiles and nods. It's good to make good on your promises.
He'd love to see you. I imagine we ain't got much money that we can pay you for thanks, but we can offer you a good meal, and we'd love to have you in the house.
Money is not necessary, but I would love to have a meal. These here are my new companions that we've made along the way. I'm sure some of them might look a little more interesting than others.
Wow. Racist.
Colin, your toes.
Oh no!
You hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Huh. I guess I'll stop smacking into the freaking... That's weird, because I wasn't pulling on the cord that time, although I was hitting the desk with my foot.
Maybe it's the other end of the cord that needs to be reseated.
Oh yeah. Where is it? Make sure that it's fully intact. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
I'll stop fucking with it.
Now bang like the side of your desk or whatever you were doing before. I can still hear you. It's good. I see the lights still on.
Hear me now?
Yep. And yes, we can hear that.
Can you hear me now? Alright.
Absolutely not. Can't hear you for shit. Totally not.
Okay.
No.
Well, about that time, Lysanther and Yondar also get down, and her eyes sort of recognize them as well. I mean, it's hard to forget a Warforged that wants to be a wizard and a BDSM goblin. So, I mean, carries that whip around for some reason. She says, well, we'd be more than happy to have all of you, and of course, you can visit the Salzregard. They'd be happy to have you there as well. People around here, we don't forget that easily. As she sort of smiles and she says, I'll be off at 8 o'clock tonight. But you can go and visit the farmhouse. We live just outside of town. Algie would be happy to see you. I mean, sometimes he gets a little bit down because, well, he got hurt pretty bad, and whenever he came back, he was healed pretty okay, but got a lot of scars and things like that.
Well, we'll see what we can do to cheer him up.
She sort of smiles and nods her head. Cheers him up. Exactly. And like I said, the last time you saw Algernon, he'd been fucked up real bad. You did save his life, but in his fight with the Redeemer, he had been severely burnt.
So here, I'll go talk to Algernon. In the meantime, why don't you go see if Nipsey over there wants to give you a tour of the airship?
She sort of you can see Nini's eyes sort of light, but then almost for a second someone that smart wouldn't want to give a tour to a dummy like me. I'm just a barmaid, scullery maid.
He doesn't care about any of that. Trust me, we've got this one over here. And I'm not going to point to anyone in particular.
Oh shit. All of them. Right. Well,
Solid burn by Reed.
she nods her head, and almost immediately she like pushes to the front. Says, "Reed says I can have a tour. Reed says I can have a tour." Like waving her hand excitedly, as she pushes to the front, leaving you the town of Salzregard, or Hogsend. There is the inn. It's a small town. It's not much to it, but it has friendly people. Good hearty food. It has a blacksmith if you need any blacksmithing done. It has several farms outside. You know, there is a general store as well. The inn itself is called the Sal's Regard. It is owned by Alden Hatcher, a relatively stern but kindly man that has a very fierce, protective streak for Nini. Even though Nini is not his daughter, he kind of considers her as a daughter after her mother died. And there is, of course, the... if you would like to do anything in this town, you do have to resupply. That can be done at the general store. What would y'all like to do?
Well, as I said, I will go head out to speak to Algernon.
I'll probably do the resupply.
Alright, goes to the, that'll be the general store.
I'm going to get to planning our route.
Alright. Connor, what are you doing? Silence. Gay silence.
Kid.
I'm playing with my butthole!
He's... Connor, what are you doing? I want to make a podcast?
I want to play Space Engineers and play with buttholes.
Like, I'm gonna not show up, and I'm not, on top of that, I'm not even gonna say anything about not showing up. I'm just gonna sit by myself during weekdays in this, in the Exalt General chat with nobody around. Like a creeper.
It's an open invitation to come talk to him, because he's lonely.
He is lonely. That's what happens when you get married. You just become instantly lonely. Alright. We'll go with, Klaus. You're working on procuring supplies. It's not a big town. It is, like I said, it's a little more than like a village, but there is a general store. You can see it's, surprisingly enough, the windows are boarded up as if they were broken in, sort of bashed inwards. It looks like a couple of them have boards across them, having never been fully replaced. Obviously, we know what that's from. Gus would have known.
Sorry, I'm back.
Gus would have known what that's from. You have no clue. It's just a general store that for some reason has its windows smashed in and boarded up that they haven't repaired. But on the inside, it is quaint and small. You can see there are various barrels of sundry supplies. There's a nice large barrel of pickles, each one selling for a copper. That look like they're pretty popular, as you see a couple of kids throw coppers on the counter, and they are taking pickles. There are two women that are, they appear to be the owners of this general store, and you can see this general store has actually been cordoned off into two areas. One has general supplies and sundries, but it almost looks like one half of this is like a garment store or a clothing store, a fashion store. As they have all sorts of finely tailored clothing and things like that. Actually quite well made for a town this size. The two proprietors or proprietoresses, two women, that have they wear like really nice frilly frock dresses with lace that rises up to their necks, and they almost seem to look at the children that are buying the pickles a little bit down their noses as if they're better than them. But at the same time, they still accept their business. They take the copper coins away. Thank you, dears. As you enter, and they almost immediately turn their heads to you, it says, "Welcome to Ruby and Pearl's General Store, and fine fine couture clothing. How can we help you this evening?
Klaus is like, as he's walking up to the counter, he's looking at the broken glass in the corner, he looks at me and he's like,
A handsome fellow like you is sure to be in town, looking for Ruby and Pearl's finest frocks. Yes, we have many.
yes, did you have a break-in by chance? Seems kind of far away to have burglars.
A what?
A break-in. I'm looking at like the broken glass shit on the floor.
Oh. There was a little bit of trouble in this general store a few months ago. We've not been able to find an adequate glass blower or a carpenter that was able to install new windows. But that sort of trouble is behind us. The future is what matters. The future is fine, good clothing at affordable prices. Why, we have styles that are only just coming into fashion in the capital right now. We find ourselves at the cutting edge. Ruby? As this woman, like I said, the two women, one is dark-haired and one is blonde-haired. The dark-haired one appears to be Pearl, the blonde-haired one, Ruby. The two women present catalogs of different cuts and sort of different clothing designs. We've shipped this one all the way in from Weissenberg. It's the hottest in fashion. You must try it. And they show you they seem more excited by the fashion side of this store than by the general store side of it.
Interesting. Tell you what, let me take care of this real quick. I'll flip through your catalog, absolutely.
Oh, well, we're here to serve, darling. And the two of them sort of excitedly look at each other as if someone might actually want to buy their clothing. And like I said, the clothing is surprisingly well made, although it's probably a little bit too high fashion and impractical for village folk.
Yeah, for hogs and...
Exactly.
Yeah, a little out of place. Don't cast your pearls before swine.
They say, of course. Well, we do have all sorts of various general sundries for everyone. To tell you the truth, we only took over the shop because the real estate was cheap, but we've got to sell you know how bumpkins are. They have to have the most basic of supplies, and that's understandable. That's what keeps the lights on, I suppose, and what keeps the torches burning. So yes, they do have various general supplies as well.
Yes, anything to introduce a little bit of culture into these.
A man after my own heart. Exactly.
Alright, so let's keep the lights on a little bit and then we'll have some fun. And so what do we need? We just need like food and water and all that, and some more bolted canvas?
Basically, yes. Basically 2 weeks of rations for everyone on board, probably some canvas to replace the canvas used, because it's always, obviously you can never tell.
Yeah.
When something will, fuck up. Who knows? Maybe that rock had a mate. Oh, you never know. Let's see. 5 silver pieces. I'm doing the math for how much all the rations cost for 2. Alright. Whatever you put in your rations sort of request. They look a little bit surprised, but at the same time grateful as they say, "That's a significant amount of rations." Because you are buying a lot of rations. You're buying 2 weeks worth of rations for like 13 or 14 people.
Yes, it's quite a significant trip.
Well, we'd be happy to cut you a deal on that. I'd be willing to part with the rations for 75 gold pieces. That is a very good deal since you're buying in bulk. The canvas, I suppose, for that length of cloth, I could part with it for 4 gold pieces.
Alright. 79 gold pieces. And let's see the culture that you want to bring to these people.
Well, for what you've earned, you've absolutely earned at the very least a free cravat. As they pull out like a frilly neckerchief.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Um,
Is it like dainty and doily and shit?
And y'all motherfuckers didn't want to paint the ship purple and gold because that would be too bougie. But now we got frilly neckerchiefs and shit.
it's not. It is well, I mean, it's a cravat. It's a it's like a neckerchief thing. But it is actually made of like really. It's not. I would say it's not dainty at all. It's made of very sturdy and striking silk. It's actually a faint sort of. It's like a really nice. It's not like khaki, but it's this sort of tan, and you can see it's embroidered really nicely with all sorts of designs. It doesn't have like, even though it doesn't have it's all the same color, but it has embroidery of designs on it. These 2 women are very impressive seamstresses, actually.
Wow, this is very good.
Well, you like our work, huh? As they sort of smile brightly. If you wear it around anywhere, then everyone knows that the seamstresses Ruby and Pearl were responsible for it. And she kind of points at a couple of the designs where you can see it looks like they've vaguely embroidered the letters R and P in various places on it. Ruby and Pearl seamstresses. Boy, this turned into a real shopping episode.
Woohoo!
Oh, I'm gonna take Ziggy out real quick.
Oh, hey, don't look at me. I didn't go shopping.
Is there anything else we can do for you? We have fine waistcoats and canes, top hats, various other accessories. We're not much for haberdashery, but we must insist that everyone has at least the finest cufflinks that we can offer and things like that.
Yes, I suppose I will. I'll look at like cufflinks and stuff like that. I've still got like the. I think I've got a. Do I have a purple suit? I have fine clothes from Alphonse and Ertzig, so I don't have anything to go with the outfit. So I will shop for matching pieces.
Well, I would say, if you wanted to change your style up, this is the place to do it. They offer like really nice they have like waistcoats, long coats, sort of slightly shorter vests, polo essentially sort of button-up shirts, all that they're able to tailor fit. So if you want to, basically, if you wanted to look almost vaguely like a medieval James Bond, you probably could. That kind of thing. But they're also able to work in slightly more exotic things. As you can see, they do have various leathers. They're even able to pull out a They pull out a cloak that appears to be it's well tailored, but it's not quite the same quality as the rest. It's not that it's low quality, but it looks like it's made in like craggly sort of leather that's been stitched together. As Pearl says, this is a troll hide cloak made from the hide, as well, I suppose the name gives it away, troll. We can work with all sorts of interesting things, and we don't get them much, but someone brought in troll hide, and we bought up a fair amount. We were able to stitch this cloak together.
Does it do anything in particular?
Oh yes. Trolls are an interesting thing. I myself would not want to run into them, but it does offer some surprising protective properties.
Interesting. What kind of protection does it offer?
Well, it offers regeneration as a troll would.
How much would you like for that?
Well, it is a rather impressive item, and though it doesn't look necessarily beautiful, it has been absolutely beautifully ordered. And of course, we can do alterations and things to match your height, depending on if you're small or large. But I could not take less than 300 gold pieces for it.
Damn. Sounds really good. Jesus.
A trollhide cloak offers you, once per short rest, you can trigger it for 1 minute. During that 1 minute, you have regeneration. You restore 10 hit points at the start of your turn unless you take fire damage during the intervening, basically the period between it. So if you take fire damage, it does away with the regeneration. If not, you restore 10 hit points per turn for 1 minute.
That's really fucking good. I'm sold. Is it? Hang on. Is it an attunement?
It is an attunement item. It's once per short rest.
I still have 2 of those open. Fuck it. Let's take it.
If you got the 300 gold pieces for it, they're more than happy to give it to you.
Down to 272 gold.
Alright. They are more than happy to take it from you, the money from you, as they say, would you like this wrapped up or would you like to wear it out?
Oh, such fine work must be shown to the locals.
Oh, yes, of course. You have to show it around town, right, Ruby? That's right, Pearl. As the two sisters sort of dote on you, they do attach the cloak on, and then they make a couple of adjustments, making sure that it fits you absolutely perfectly. It's the perfect length. It's not too wide or billowy. It matches your body type. And you can see they just take a joy in this. Not just a joy in like they're doing a good job. They seem to have a genuine love for fashion and making items and things. Honestly, they take a step back. The cloak itself is it's kind of greenish, having been made from troll hide. It's like a dark green, whereas trolls are generally a little bit more of like a brighter, more acid green, but obviously it's been dried and cured.
Yeah, you cured all that. Yeah.
So it's a nice, like, really dark green.
Nice.
And like I said, it's got all sorts of stitching across it, where it looks like they've stitched various pieces of hide together. But it's well done. It looks Well, it looks interesting enough. It looks cool. You look cool. Two women step back, admiring their own work. Well, as for those supplies, we can have them sent to the ship. I imagine that's where you'll want it sent. That is what you came in on. I certainly don't recognize you from the rest of the town.
Of course.
But we will have them sent
Yeah.
immediately upon payment. Can't remember.
Yes, of course.
Of course. Payment itself, how you want that paid is up to y'all. Y'all can, because Nipsey herself is not exactly flush with cash. Oh.
Yeah, we're not really getting the perks until we get the capital, I assume.
So y'all can decide how y'all want it split up. Obviously, Janice is a child. She probably does not have money, but Lysanthier, Yondu, and Yondar, they've probably got some fair amount of money on them. Want to split it up amongst people you can, or you can just have someone come pay for it, but it'll be 75 gold pieces. But you get a free cravat. I mean,
Hell yeah, dude.
that's almost worth the price alone.
Free.
Alright.
Free shit, now you're speaking my language.
You walk out of the general store. Ruby
I'll take out 5 gold from my inventory from the thing. Let's say I'll just collect from the others.
right? Ruby and Pearl's general store. You bought basically the one magic item that they had in the store.
A damn good one though. Holy shit.
Of course, I mean you can get if you wanted to get those rock feathers crafted into something, you could theoretically do it here. They are pretty good seamstresses, but obviously that would cost money. But
Yeah, that's also Max's thing. I'll let him do that once he arrives.
You read.
Yes.
You find yourself walking. It's a very sort of bucolic and sort of pastoral scene. It's a very nice, simple farming village, and in May, with spring sort of beginning to spring all about you, you can see the trees are filled with blooms, and there's growth. The world, despite the fact that, you know, far to the west and north, there's this incoming horror, this king of Black Everfrost that is slowly bearing down on the entire empire. Here, at the very least, things are calm. You walk along the beautiful lanes, and you can see fruit trees growing up, beginning to bloom, and you find yourself at the Schmidt farm. It's pretty sizable, and you can see it looks like it's been recently, the fields have recently been turned over. There's a young girl at a well. You can see she's working a pump that is slowly pumping water up into a wooden pail. You can immediately recognize a resemblance to Nini, likely her younger sister. It looks like she's recovered admirably after having been held hostage in the situation several months before. And you can see a taller form standing in a nearby doorway of a small farmhouse. Algernon Schmidt. He is no longer clad in the sort of dark robes and plague mask of the Redeemer. He's a simple farmer. He wears a white shirt, overalls, rough brown pants. You can see one of his arms hangs a little bit limp at the side, his left arm, and you can see the left side of his face is also covered in pretty significant burns. You can see well, it's covered in scars from burning as, like I said, his encounter with the Redeemer left him pretty badly scarred. But he does, despite the fact that half his face is pretty significantly scorched, you can see the right side of his face, he has this sort of this little upturned smile as he watches his sister, like, pump water. Rather, it looks a little bit ridiculous because she keeps trying to start pumping the water until it starts to go out, and then she moves the bucket underneath to try to catch the water instead of putting the bucket directly underneath the spigot and then starting to pump. Like I said, she's young and she's dumb. She's young. She's just a kid. But you see he goes down, he walks by her side, and he puts the bucket under the spigot and holds her hand as they pump the water together.
That's adorable.
I know. It's almost like I'm not really bad at this Dungeon Master thing.
Yeah.
It's a very nice scene. It's a calm scene. It's something you might have wanted for Algernon, who did bad things and suffered in his own and tried to help out in the end.
Alright, well, Reed would head on over there and call out to Algernon.
He casts Finger of Death, you die!
Damn.
Oh no! Oh no!
Alright,
Power word kill. Power word kill.
time to bring Elwyn back in.
As you sort of walk up behind them,
Call my grappler.
call out to him. There's a pause. And he slowly sort of lifts up, and he kind of, turns in place. A look of, confusion on his face, but then his, he has the one eyebrow that he has sort of raises up, almost in a little bit of shock, but immediately turns to recognition as, he says, "There's a voice I recognize!" As he sees you standing there. Reed, was it?
That it is, Algernon.
As
Nini told me I'd find you here.
He walks up to you and just lifts you up, and he just sort of takes your tiny little form in a hug. How long has it been?
Many, many months. 1100 or so, according to her.
Oh, yeah. Nini's not so good with time. She's good with numbers in her own way, but time is... But that's besides the point. You're back
Sure she'll get there.
here. I didn't... It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Yeah, I can't say this was really planned, but one shouldn't look too hard in serendipitous circumstances.
That is the truth. Well, you have to... Shit, how rude of me. Come inside, have a drink. You have to tell me what's happened with you. I myself, well, I wouldn't say that exciting things have happened, but to tell you the truth, I'm happy that things are a little bit more on the mundane side. After what? The incidents.
Indeed, it must be nice that things have stayed peaceful. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes. After I was able to spend some time in Casal recovering, I came back home and I did what I could. You and your friends, they gave me a second chance. chance to make up. You gave me a chance to make up for my mistakes. I can't. I don't know if.
Hold it there. I did not give you anything. I just showed you the way back onto the path.
I don't think I could have found my way without you. He sort of smiles and he looks a little bit off in the distance. What has happened with you? It's rude of me to bogart all this conversation.
Sadly, I wish I could say my time has been as peaceful, but people have come and gone. Things have happened. And I just hope that we can keep the nice little life you've made for yourself here as kind. Unfortunately, there are things that need to be discussed.
What things exactly?
Well, this might actually... I don't know exactly how you take the news, but for one thing, the man who poisoned your mind is no more. My allies took care of him far to the north.
Well, there's a moment where he says, I feel... Would it feel wrong to feel a little bit sad about that? I mean, he was not a good man, but he did take care of me. In a way.
How you feel, there is no wrong or right. It's just what belongs to you. If you feel some sadness for him, then there's nothing wrong with that.
I like it. You can take
I felt it a little... Yeah.
You can take a point of inspiration.
Woohoo.
It feels very roleplay. Like I said, and especially... Like I said, you remember that part of what Algernon... Gracie, it's just the baby! Alright, I'm gonna pause it real fast and we'll continue this conversation as I go see this baby. The only person that matters here is Luke, so everyone else can be fucking gone.
Hey, Lamau!
Alright, and Joseph Smoke. Wait, did he?
He left the channel.
Sure, why the fuck not?
I mean, I don't know if he... he's gone completely offline. Okay.
Yeah, no, he just fucking split out. I wonder if he wonders the only person that was important for this scene is Reed.
Well,
Reed was actually
like he made
here.
It's not like he made a choice about where he was gonna go.
Yeah, that's true. He's probably just hanging out on the ship jerking off with Carrington. But you do remember, sort of Algernon's story. His mother lost the Redeemer, promising to bring her back. That sort of thing, and he'd fall into her clutches. So you could kind of understand, and even then, the Redeemer had, I mean, it's not like he had starved him. He had trained him, taken care of him, helped him grow up to be a much stronger necromancer, because he himself had displayed pretty impressive magical prowess in his youth. But you helped get Algernon on the right path and separate him from the Redeemer and turn him to a life where he helps. And you can see just judging by the care he's shown for his sisters, it's not all bad. As he blows up the building and says, "I am now a terrorist."
All right.
Boy, things turned out real bad for you, didn't they? But,
Yep, guess that teaches Reed. People don't change.
You
All right.
do have a
Time to completely revamp his character.
did get a point of inspiration, because it's mostly because whenever he like talked about the fact that he's, you know, the Redeemer's a bad person, but you can see why he's kind of sad that this happened. He himself didn't necessarily view the Redeemer as all bad.
Yeah.
But he's sort of there's a quiet moment between the two of you as you're sitting in what appears to be like the front common room. There's the common room of it's a farmhouse, so there's a living room essentially. It has a hearth and a table and things like that, and you're looking out over the fields. You can see, like I said, they've been recently been turned over. It looks like they're ready to start planting soon, likely for a fall crop, some sort of pumpkin or squash or things like that. And you can see the sun is shining down. There's a couple of clouds in the blue sky, and it's a very peaceful, sort of calm scene, pastoral. Beautiful fruit trees lining a dirt lane. Just a moment to take a break after all you've seen. There's been weeks of cities and fighting, and being cramped on an airship. And so just, you know, having a 15 minutes, a half an hour to look out on this scene and just be able to take a deep breath. And even though you've meditated and had time to sort of to calm your mind, to go to a place where you're able to basically completely shut off and hear the birds chirping and smell the freshly turned dirt and smell of flowers in the air, and you can hear his young sister kind of laughing as she pumps water into a bucket. It's a nice opportunity to just, or at least a couple of minutes, just flip off completely and meditate. And he is happy to do so with you, to sit quietly for a while and reflect on everything that he's gone through as you do. And after about 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour, he says, "So, what brings you back to Hogsend?"
Well, as I said, it's actually serendipitous circumstances. Really, we're just restocking before we make our way to the capital. Found ourselves in a bit of trouble with the airship.
Well, after what you've done for the town, you could probably get a fair discount if you reminded everyone. I mean,
Nah, I'd rather them give a fair price. You guys are still rebuilding.
that we are. It's not been easy.
Now there is something you could do for me that does not require gold.
Well, if it's within my power, consider it done.
I know this might not be a time that you want to think back on too much, but while you were with the Redeemer, did he tell you anything about a key that he had? A key to the mint?
He says, there's a moment where he did carry a key on him. I mean, it was, as far as I can tell, it was as valuable as gold to him. Now that I think about it, wouldn't let anybody muck around with it, mess with it. I even asked him about it once, twice. 3 times, actually, about it.
Did he ever say what it was for?
At first, he just brushed me off and said... He said it didn't really matter. But on the last time I asked him, he said that it wasn't just a key to a vault. He said it was key to everything. From what I can tell, it was... He said it's... Whenever he was younger, he spent a lot of time in the city of Frost doing research on... He kept his notes, stored them in there, as far as I can know. As far as I know, that's all he would tell me, though. He'd go into specifics. He said after they were useful to him, he'd tell me why he was hiding them.
Still raises more questions, but thank you.
He did spend a lot of time in... Well, he sent a lot of letters. I delivered one time. He was getting, he was sending messages to a, someone up north, Captain Adelindra, about capturing raiders and holding them. Only sent a couple of letters.
He was in contact with Adelindra.
Oh. He was in contact as... using his birth name, I suppose you would call it.
Well, if I ever get the chance to see her again, we'll have to ask her about him.
But he did express an interest in the raiders and having them, at least one of them captured alive if there was a raiding party, be sent back to the capital or Prost, whichever one was most convenient.
Speaking of the raiders, Reed's gonna start getting a little more serious. This is the part
He was
that's going...
insistent that they would... Well, he said that he would be the savior to protect us from them. Of course, it seems a little bit silly.
Well, now we'll never know if he could have backed that up, but here's the big part. They have started attacks in the north. Seems that they haven't really gotten word down here yet. You guys should be fine for now, but if you do start to hear rumblings, I think it would be best if you take Nini and your other sister and go.
He just kind of looks at you for a moment. I understand. Perhaps it's his knowledge with the time he spent with the Redeemer, but as soon as you say that, there's kind of like a grim determination that crosses his face. I understand.
I hope it doesn't come to that, but thank you.
It does. I have made plans, if it does come to that. Thank you.
Thanks aren't necessary. This was all you.
Well, It feels wrong to end on such dire tidings. Something happier, perhaps.
Well, I've already sent Nini to annoy Nip, our captain.
She
Perhaps
is incredible at doing that.
Perhaps you and your other sister, too, would enjoy a tour of the airship.
I certainly can't disagree. But as for you, I don't want you staying in the beds of the Sal's Regards unless you have to. Our home is your home. We've got, well, I wouldn't call it rooms, but we do have beds and lodgings for you. We can find somewhere. At the very least, you have to stay and have dinner with us. We're not rich, but we do well enough for ourselves. Especially with my, I suppose a relic of the Redeemer, his magical teachings that he taught me. I have made a fair amount of coin on mending. You'd be surprised what mending can do in a small farm town. Plows,
Wow.
yokes, things like that.
God damn
all
it,
for just a,
Well then,
all just for a little bit, all for just a small bit of coin, but it's always something in need of repair.
well then, I think I have something we could use your mending skills on as well.
Well, all you have to do is ask, my friend. My skills are at your service.
Well then, let's go meet the captain.
Says, he sort of nods his head and stands up. As he walks out the door, he says, he turns to his sister and says, Hana, go feed the goats. And the young girl sort of nods her head. And she starts, filling up the water. He says, no, food, not water. Feed them, not water them. She sort of smiles and nods her head as he turns and says, she's more akin to Nini than myself. But she has a very sweet heart. As he follows you to the airship. Is anybody else doing anything in particular?
Well, obviously not Joseph Smoke.
Not Joseph Smoke, because as soon as I said the only person I needed for this scene is Reed, and so he left.
He just left.
Yeah,
Yep.
like the only person I need for the scene
Okay.
with Algernon is Reed, because he's the only person that went. Alec,
I mean,
cool. There,
Did he say he was leaving?
he just kind of
Nope,
left.
he just...
If
Well then!
If Alec Cool wants to do anything, like I said, it's a small town, but it's a town that has a surprisingly adept tailor, and haberdasher, or actually a pair of them, because it's a Ruby and Pearl General Store, who have very surprisingly fine, tailored goods.
Yeah, I got their bitch and magic items. It's pretty sweet.
What's their magic idea?
It is a troll hide cloak. It offers once per short rest you can cast regeneration on yourself and get 10 hit points per turn as long as you don't take fire damage
That's pretty cool.
for 1 minute. It is an attunement item because that's a pretty significant
Yeah.
magical
that's real
buff.
good.
That's a very good, very strong one. Once per short rest, if you need it. Like I said, you might have needed it during the rock fight if you had taken, if it had rolled more than a 4, because the highest it rolled against a player was a 4, and it had plus 13 to hit.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it be like that sometimes.
Sometimes it be
for
like
us.
that. It rolled great against beating the shit out the ship.
That's honestly what I was more concerned about.
But is Alec Cool want to do
Um,
anything? Like I said, this is a small town, but it's a very peaceful and nice town. It's got quite a few people. It's got a blacksmith. It's got a general store. A pretty nice tavern called the Sal's Regard.
No, I'm gonna spend most of my time still working on my map and then making sure we
Alright.
have a good plan about where to go
Roll a
from here to make a.
roll an intelligence cartographer's tools check, which you now are proficient in. So it's intelligence plus proficiency.
That would be like my history check. Convenient. Wow, it's a 9.
It's a 9. You search the maps. You take a break from making your really nice map, to sort of do a little bit more like crunchy work to plan where you're going to go next. You start planning because you know that the ship itself, in its current, basically its current hull storage, you could get the hull upgraded for more storage if you wanted to spend money on airship upgrades and things like that, or do work towards that, which you can do when you get to like Weissenberg or something like that. You've got a 2-week range or so. Unfortunately, you're not super familiar with the area. So the only place you can come across that's within range is a town called Van Dyke.
Okay. And is that, that's about 2 weeks from where we are right now?
It's about 2 weeks from, yes, it's 2 weeks from where you are right now.
And about how far is it from Weissenberg?
It would be, once you get to Van Dyke, it would be another 2 weeks or so to Weissenberg. It'd be,
okay.
If you look...
Just one more.
Yeah, if you want to look at the map, it would be, I can ping it for you, it'd be somewhere around this line.
Okay. And that it's still about it's pretty close to the main road.
Yes. You've been sort of looking on, just sort of roads on the Emperor's March, since that's a good landmark to always be able to like follow and pick up where your location is. It's much like Hog's End. It's a little bit off the road. This one is actually pretty much right on the road. It's a pretty significant town.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's with that roll, that's the only one you can come across. That sort of one that's directly on town. Not that that's bad. It's just the biggest town. It's the most well-known town. It's also the one that'll capture the most attention. May or may not be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
You have to do this without the help. Yep.
I was gonna say, I asked Nipsey if she's around.
Oh, I was actually gonna say you have to do this without the help of Nipsey, because she is fully absorbed giving tours to Nini, who is constantly asking questions. From what is the ship made of, to how does it go, to how does it fly, to if it crashed into the ground, how many people would die.
All of us. I asked Lincoln then. I asked him if he knows of any other towns in that general area.
We'll see what Lincoln's intelligence gives him. I'll go ahead and say he's got really great like charisma for asking on the streets. Does not have great history check knowledge. He sort of shakes his head and says, I mean, I mostly have stuck to the main paths on my various interludes and journeys. I prefer bigger towns, so Van Dyke's about all I know along that way.
Okay.
He only rolled an 11, so
I mean, it was worth asking.
he himself, Van Dyke is all he knows as well.
I go. Are there any of the other people on the boat other than Nini?
Lysanthier and Yondar have gone to the Sal's Regard to catch up since they've been gone.
I mean, like,
Yonduin is still
mean, like,
there.
Townspeople.
Oh, not. There's a couple, but yeah, sure. There's a couple.
Okay. I did forget about Yonduin. I'm gonna ask Yonduin what he knows about the towns in the area.
It's much better at this. Oh wow. Okay, so we got a 26.
Yeah.
Of course I know.
Better than me.
I just said, oh, I know. Part of being a bard's traveling from town to town, and sometimes you might not end up in, well, the finest of all towns. Sometimes you end up in some sort of run-down punk-duck area that you just kind of have to know about the... You kind of hope you know a little better about the local legends so you can sing a song about it, because if you start singing about something from the capital, they can get right pissed off. Yeah, I can tell you a couple of towns.
Okay.
Obviously,
I just maybe something a little bit not right on the road.
understandable if we're trying to keep a low profile or something like that. Van Dyke is where you want to go if you want to get something a little bit more big and flamboyant, but it's right on the road. It's got a lot of merchants that pass through. It's got a lot of goods. But if you're wanting something a little bit more out the way, south off of the Emperor's March, maybe 10 miles, there's a little town called Dern I spent a night in. They're friendly people, to be sure.
Okay. And it's just a little bit further south of the road, so probably down here.
Pretty, yes.
Okay.
He nods his head and says, it's the type of place where you can certainly get your supplies, and, I mean, you're not going to get anything fancy, to be sure, but if you're just looking to resupply and get the hell out, it's probably best if you're wanting to keep a low profile, at least.
Okay. I'm gonna mark both of those, probably put like a star next to, Dern, and I will, whenever I see Nipsey free, I'm gonna pull her aside and I will ask her what she thinks.
Okay.
And if it's something we don't actually talk, like, converse about in roleplay, I will, I will tell her my choice would be Dern, but
You choose
either works. Just
choosing
fine.
between big town that has lots of different supplies. It probably has access to magic items and potions and stuff like that to buy. But it's high profile. I mean, people are gonna know, and it's gonna spread around.
Yeah,
that,
and frankly, I need to stay low profile the closer we get to the capital.
Or Dern is a town where you're not gonna have a lot of access to magic items or potions. You'll be able to get your supplies, but it's low profile. It's a little town like Hogsend. It's off the beaten path, very quaint and local. It's the type of thing that people are gonna be shocked to see an airship, and they'll talk about it. But they'll talk about it for months. But they'll talk about it for months in the town.
In the town, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's definitely more the speed that I was looking for.
Yeah, that's my vote as well.
And that'll be your last stop to Weissenberg. And in Weissenberg, you can try to upgrade your airship. If you can, you can upgrade your airship hold to be to double its capacity. In which case, you could technically sail 4 squares before having to stop. Because right now you're sailing 2, basically, where you have to stop. Or you could get more ballistas, that kind of thing. But the airship upgrade is something you can do in Weissenberg, because it doesn't have airship docks, but it does have enough. It's a city of significant enough size that you could do something like that. But that's neither here nor there. That's me speculating for technically 2 weeks down the line when you arrive in Weissenberg. Right now, you find yourself trying to capture Nipsey to talk to her, unable to do so as she is inundated with questions from
Oh
villagers.
yeah, I
who
do
are-
not actually try and capture her. I tell Yonduin if or any of the other crew, it's like whenever you see her not swamped with people,
yeah,
just tell her to come see me,
yeah,
and I will just hang out and work on my map.
there'll be a time to talk to her, but obviously in this initial like excitement, there's going to be a lot of villagers coming to. Eventually, that excitement will, it'll wane, and people will talk to her at the inn. And you actually see after you've spent some time plotting and talking to her, you see Reed returns with a sort of man who has got like, I mean, he's half burnt. Half his body has been burnt.
I've met him, haven't I?
Possibly actually.
I can't remember when he left.
I can't remember how far it was back since Algernon, or since
He left at Kurt's castle, right? And I was
He
around
left
just before Kurt's castle.
at Casal. Stop giving me a fucking ad block, you piece of shit. You look at my damn notes. Let me consult the notes real fast. Alright, you eventually see a man you don't recognize, who's sort of suffered pretty significant burns over the left side of his body, but Reed seems friendly with him, as he is walking around looking with a little bit of awe at the airship. As Reed, you lead Algernon on the ship. Algernon himself is a pretty skilled wizard, having been trained by the Redeemer himself.
Got a friend, Reed?
Yes, allow me to introduce you to Algernon. He's been here... well, why am I saying he's been here? We met quite a while back at the beginning of this whole escapade with the Redeemer.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that guy.
He's here because he has a particular skill that we are in need of right now.
Oh, well, that's good. Anything to help us move along, right?
I can, Algernon says, I've got all sorts of, I learned a lot of magical things from my training, and I can, on the way over, Reed told me he might be in need of a little bit of mending, and, well, it's certainly something I can do.
Mend these nuts.
He says, he looks at your, Thrycreen form a little bit confused. I don't see any nuts on your Thrycreen exoskeleton body. I don't know what to do.
I'm actually all scrotum.
Nipsey says, "That's perfect." And says, she almost immediately completely starts ignoring the villagers as she goes to Algernon and says, "Come on, you're not afraid of climbing up on a hot air balloon, are you?" And she like drags him away. You can see the two of them scale the side of the balloon. The rigging, Algernon a little bit nervously, understandably, as he slowly makes his way up. Nipsey is completely fearless as she just bounds her way up. Eventually is sort of almost dragging him up to the tear, and you can see the two begin working on mending it. You can see he closes his eyes slightly, and you can see there's a faint glow from his hands as he sort of integrates the patch itself, and you don't get the canvas back from the patch, but he almost sort of brings it back, uses the patch to completely mend it all together. But he does completely repair, without any seams, the airship.
Cool.
It's good to have. It's good to have some strategies of mending on, so... Zara, get on it, Connor.
Connor fucking... Yeah, I thought Connor had it.
Well, Connor's not here.
Maybe he does.
Connor's not here to dispute it. I don't think he does, but
I thought somebody had it, which is the reason I didn't take it. It might be Karakwa. Karakwa is no longer here, so.
Nah, I think he looked at Karakwa.
Karakwa has retired.
He's retarded.
Maybe Cody will come back one day. He'll just tree stride out of a tree, be like, "Yeah, I was here the whole time, guys." But for right now, he's off in the ether. But the airship is repaired. Algernon is not just able to heal the airship balloon, but a lot of the sort of more minor scrapes and cracks in the actual hull itself, and the actual gondola where the rock attacked it. He's able to go through and help repair it. He's more than happy to. Part of his penance for the things that he did, more than happy to help you. As he goes through, I do not see. Yep. Zara has light, sacred frame, thaumaturgy, and word of radiance. Also does not have mending.
Well, if that's a thing I can swap something out for when I level up, I will do so.
Yes, you can swap it.
I don't know when I don't know as a druid when I can do that.
As night descends on the little town of Hog's End, you find yourself enjoying a very... It's not a fancy meal, but it is a meal that is filled with good conversation, fellowship, happiness, at the simple farm of the Schmidt family, as Algernon is happy to have you over. It's a farmer's fair, but it's filling and it's filling not just in regards to sustenance, but emotionally as well. Spiritually, I guess you could say, in a sense. As you find yourselves passing the night in good company, and you wake up in the morning, the ship is ready to depart, having been mostly repaired by Nipsey overnight, or Nipsey and Algernon, Gondolin, and Lysanthier. Everything's ready to go in the morning.
Sweet.
If you have any final things you would like to do, you can do them, but otherwise, the town gathers around. You can see at the front of them Algernon and Nipsey, Hannah, all gathered around, waving at you as the airship slowly rises into the air, leaving the town of Hogsend behind.